What if I told you that living to be 90 or even 100, full of energy, purpose, and peace of mind, is not some far-off dream reserved for a lucky few? Dr. Samuel Simmons, a retired physician, is living proof. He is 92 years old, still takes a morning walk every single day, and remembers names, dates, and even medical facts better than folks half his age. His secret? It is not a miracle drug or a fancy wellness retreat. It is 4 small habits he practices daily, habits that anyone can adopt. Think about that. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just small decisions made consistently. Stick around, because these 4 habits could completely shift the way you think about aging. And trust me, it is simpler than you might expect. Dr. Simmons is not your typical 92-year-old man. He has lived through wars, raised 3 children, built a medical career that spanned over 5 decades, and he still finds time to mow his own lawn. People often ask him, "Doc, what's your secret?" He smiles and says, "It is not really a secret. It is how you treat your body and your mind every single day that matters." This video is about the habits that helped him stay healthy, alert, and independent long into his golden years. We will walk through 4 simple but powerful choices that could help you do the same. So take a seat, get comfortable, and let us explore what it really takes to age with strength and purpose. A lot of folks think getting older means losing energy, dealing with aches and pains, and just watching life pass by. But Dr. Simmons would tell you something different. He believes many of the problems we blame on age are the result of habits we have picked up along the way, or worse, habits we have let go of. He often says it is not aging that slows people down. It is stopping the things that keep them going. The real issue is that no one teaches us how to age well. We're told what not to do, but rarely what we should do. This video aims to change that. You have more control than you think. And it starts with knowing the right habits. Dr. Simmons likes to say, the moment you stop moving, you start rusting. And he is not wrong. At 92, the man still takes a morning walk every single day. He does not jog. He does not do anything extreme. He just moves. And for him, that has made all the difference. He wakes up around 6:30, drinks a glass of water, stretches his arms over his head, and puts on his shoes. Rain or shine, he walks a mile. If the weather is too rough, he walks inside the house, around the kitchen island, or just paces the hallway. Now you might be thinking, well, that is great for him, but I am not in that kind of shape. And that is fair. But here is the thing. Movement does not have to be fancy or intense to work. Studies have shown that walking just 10 minutes a day can reduce the risk of heart disease, help balance blood sugar, and even lower the chance of developing dementia. Dr. Simmons often compares the body to a door hinge. He says, you leave it alone too long, it gets stiff. But keep it moving, and it works smoothly for years. That is exactly how joints and muscles behave. When you stop using them, they weaken. And when they weaken, everything gets harder, standing up, getting dressed, going upstairs. But when you use them, even gently, they stay strong. He also includes a bit of balance work in his routine. Sometimes he stands on one leg while brushing his teeth. Other times, he uses the back of a chair to do leg lifts or simple stretches. These little habits help him prevent falls, one of the biggest dangers for older adults. What really matters here is consistency. Movement needs to become part of your day, the way brushing your teeth is. Dr. Simmons treats it like medicine. It is non-negotiable. It is something you do because your future depends on it. He remembers one of his patients, a man in his 70s, who had stopped walking altogether. Within 6 months, he needed help getting out of bed. That stuck with him. He says, you do not lose strength all at once. You lose it slowly when you stop using it. The beautiful part is, you can start any point. Maybe it is 5 minutes around your living room. Maybe it is walking out to the mailbox and back. The key is to start small and build from there. Dr. Simmons recommends keeping a small notebook or calendar and checking off every day you move. It creates a sense of progress, and it gives you something to look back on when you feel like quitting. And he always says, you do not have to climb a mountain. You just have to keep walking toward it. So what can you do today? Maybe stand up during commercials. Take a stroll after lunch. Stretch your arms above your head when you wake up. Any of these small steps can become powerful habits over time. Your body is wiser than you think. It remembers movement. It craves it. And when you give it that gift daily, it will show up for you in return. Start today. Not for exercise, not for weight loss, but for the simple joy of being able to move freely and live fully. Dr. Simmons has a rule when it comes to food. He says, if your grandmother would not recognize it, maybe you should not eat it. And by grandmother, he means someone who grew up cooking real meals, not heating up boxes from the freezer. Every day, he starts his morning with a warm bowl of oatmeal. Not the instant kind, the kind you cook on the stove. He adds walnuts for healthy fats, a few fresh berries for sweetness, and a splash of almond milk. It keeps him full, keeps his blood sugar steady, and gives him a head start on fiber. Lunch is just as simple: grilled chicken or a piece of fish, a big handful of leafy greens, maybe some beans or quinoa. He drizzles it with olive oil and lemon juice. No fancy dressings, no fried sides, just clean, nourishing food. He says, food should give you energy, not take it away. And that is true. The more processed the food, the more sluggish you feel afterward. High salt, added sugar, preservatives, those things do not just affect your waistline. They affect your heart, your brain, and your mood. Dr. Simmons never counted calories, never followed a strict diet. Instead, he made real food the center of every meal. He avoided packaged snacks and sugary drinks. He drank lots of water and enjoyed fruit as dessert. He often tells the story of a patient who struggled with arthritis. This woman loved soda and fast food. When Dr. Simmons asked her to swap soda for water and start eating home-cooked meals, her joint pain started to ease within weeks. She was shocked. But the truth is, inflammation often starts in the kitchen. And here is the beautiful part. You do not have to change everything overnight. Dr. Simmons says, just start with one thing. Maybe that is skipping the chips and having a banana instead. Maybe it is cooking one extra meal at home this week. The little changes add up. One of his favorite tricks is shopping the outside aisles of the grocery store. That is where the real food lies. Fruits, vegetables, fresh meat, dairy, and whole grains. The center aisles? That is where you find the boxes, the cans, and the frozen dinners loaded with things you cannot pronounce. He also suggests reading labels. If it has more than 5 ingredients and you do not recognize half of them, maybe set it back down. Real food should not be complicated. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. Dr. Simmons says just knowing what you are putting in your body gives you power. And when you choose better, you feel better. Another piece of advice he gives is to make meals social again. Sit down at the table. Eat slowly. Taste your food. Talk with someone if you can. Food is not just fuel. It is connection, memory, comfort. So what can you do today? Maybe skip the drive-thru and try a homemade soup. Add a green vegetable to dinner. Replace a soda with water or tea. Cook with your grandkids or invite a neighbor to eat with you. Every bite is a chance to nourish not just your body, but your future. And that is something worth choosing every single day. Dr. Simmons believes your brain is just like any other muscle in your body. If you use it, it stays strong. If you ignore it, it gets weaker. He says, curiosity keeps me young. The moment I stop learning, I start aging. Every day, he sets aside time to read something new. Not always a full book. Sometimes it is a newspaper article, a journal, or even a few pages of history. He believes feeding the mind is as important as feeding the body. But it is not just about reading. He also writes. He keeps a journal where he reflects on his day, writes down lessons he has learned, or records memories from his childhood. This habit, he says, helps him stay mentally sharp and emotionally grounded. Social connection is just as critical. Dr. Simmons calls his grandchildren every week. He checks in on neighbors. He attends local town meetings and sometimes leads discussions at the library. It is not about being busy, he says. It is about being connected. Studies back this up. Older adults who stay socially active and mentally engaged are less likely to suffer from cognitive decline. Loneliness has been linked to higher risks of depression, heart disease, and even early death. The science is clear, but more importantly, so is the experience. Dr. Simmons tells a story about a former patient who retired and moved away to a quiet cabin. At first, it seemed peaceful, but over time, that quiet turned into isolation. No visitors, no purpose, no reason to get out of bed. That man's health declined quickly, not because of illness, but because of loneliness. That is what I fear most, Dr. Simmons says. Not death, disconnection. So, how do we stay curious and connected as we age? It does not mean signing up for college classes or joining 10 clubs. It means finding things that spark interest. Maybe it is gardening. Maybe it is learning to play a simple tune on the piano. Maybe it is just calling an old friend for a chat. Dr. Simmons encourages people to start small. Join a book club, even if you only listen. Learn a new recipe. Watch a documentary and talk about it with someone. These small acts wake up the brain and warm the heart. He also believes in trying new things. Last year, at 91, he started learning basic Spanish. Not because I need it, he says, but because it makes me feel alive. That sense of growth, no matter how slow, keeps life exciting. Another one of his habits is teaching others. He mentors young people interested in healthcare. He believes sharing wisdom not only benefits others, but also helps him stay engaged in the world. The lesson here is simple. Staying curious and socially engaged is not just good for the brain. It is good for the soul. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning, to pay attention, to care. So what can you do today? Reach out to someone you have not spoken to in a while. Pick up that book you've been meaning to read. Ask questions. Explore something new, even if it is small. Because when you stay curious, you stay alive in more ways than one. Dr. Simmons likes to say, people underestimate rest. They think sleep is doing nothing. But sleep is when your body gets to work. And he is right. At 92, he credits his strong memory and steady energy not just to what he eats or how he moves, but to how well he rests. He follows a routine, almost like a bedtime ritual. Around 8:30 each night, he dims the lights, turns off the television, and puts away his phone. He makes a cup of chamomile tea and writes down 3 things he is grateful for. He says it helps him sleep with a peaceful mind. By 9:30, he is in bed. No news, no late-night scrolling, just a calm, dark room and a body ready to heal. Research shows that adults who sleep 7 to 8 hours each night have better heart health, stronger immune systems, and even lower risks of cognitive decline. Poor sleep, on the other hand, can lead to weight gain, anxiety, and memory issues. But it is not just about the hours. It is also about the quality. Stress is a major sleep thief. When your mind is racing, your body cannot relax. That is why Dr. Simmons also practices deep breathing. He takes 5 minutes before bed to breathe slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth. It slows the heart rate and sends a message to the body. You're safe. You can rest now. He also believes in managing stress throughout the day. He spends time in nature, takes breaks when he feels overwhelmed, and keeps his commitments realistic. I do not need to do everything, he says. I just need to do what matters. Dr. Simmons shares the story of a former colleague who burned out in his 50s. The man was constantly on edge, rarely slept, and pushed himself every day without pause. Eventually, his health caught up with him. High blood pressure, exhaustion, and a complete breakdown. You cannot outrun stress, Dr. Simmons says. It always catches you. The good news is there are simple ways to invite calm into your life. He recommends creating a wind-down routine, even if it is just 15 minutes. Light the candle, listen to soft music, write in a journal, pray or meditate. Whatever brings you peace, make space for it. He also suggests limiting caffeine after lunchtime and avoiding heavy meals late in the evening. These small changes can have a big impact on how well you sleep. During the day, take moments to pause. Step outside and feel the sun on your skin. Call a friend just to say hello. Stretch your arms and breathe deeply. These practices are not luxuries. They are tools for survival. The truth is, stress is part of life, but how we respond to it makes all the difference. And sleep is not wasted time. It is healing time. So what can you do today? Maybe set a bedtime alarm to remind yourself it is time to slow down. Try a breathing exercise tonight. Keep a gratitude journal beside your bed, because when you take care of your rest, you're not just sleeping better, you're living better, and you're giving your future self a gift that is more powerful than any pill. Peace. Dr. Simmons once sat across from me, looked me square in the eye, and said, I have watched so many good people grow old before their time, not because of bad luck, but because of bad habits. He talked about friends who stopped moving, who filled their plates with processed food, who rarely spoke to anyone outside their home, and who never gave themselves a break to rest or breathe. They were smart folks, he said, but they let life shrink around them. What hit me most was when he added, I chose differently. I chose to keep living, even when everything told me to slow down. That moment stuck with me, because aging is not something we escape. But how do we age? That is the part we get to shape. Every small choice we make, every step, every bite, every connection adds up. And if Dr. Simmons can thrive at 92, maybe we can too. We just have to choose to live with purpose. So what can we take away from Dr. Simmons and his 92 years of experience? First, move your body, even if it is just a few steps around the room. Second, eat food that is real, colorful, and grown from the earth. Third, keep your mind active and your heart open to others. And fourth, give yourself the rest and calm your body needs to heal. These are not trendy tips or overnight fixes. They are habits practiced every day that build a life of strength and meaning. Dr. Simmons never claimed to have all the answers. He simply paid attention to what made him feel alive, and he stuck with it. You do not need to overhaul your entire life to make a difference. You just need to take one small step starting today, because aging well is not about avoiding time. It is about using the time you have left with purpose, care, and joy. That is a life worth living. If this video gave you something to think about, go ahead and share it with someone you care about. You never know who might need to hear this today. And if you want more real-life wisdom and stories like Dr. Simmons, hit that subscribe button and stay connected with us. We are building a space that honors growing older with grace, strength, and purpose. Stick around. There's so much more to learn, and we would love to walk that journey with you.